वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 18, text number 13 to 19. Maitreya Vacha Saha Adikshiptaha Bhagavata So Adikshipto Bhagavata Pralabdaha Cha Rusha Brisham Pralabdascha Rusha Brisham Ajahara Ulbanam Krodam Ajaharolbanam Krodam Kridyamanaha Ahirat Iva Kridyamano Ahiradiva. Maitreya Vacha So Adikshipto Bhagavata Pralabdascha Rusha Brisham Ajaharolbanam Krodam Kridyamano Ahiradiva. Maitreya Vacha So Adikshipto Bhagavata Pralabdascha Rusha Brisham Ajaharolbanam Krodam Kridyamano Ahiradiva. Maitreya Vacha, the great sage Maitreya said, Saha, the demon, Adikshiptaha, having been insulted, Bhagavataha, by the personality of Godhead, Pralabdaha, ridiculed, Cha, and Rusha, angry, Brusham, greatly, Ajahara, collected, Ulbanam, great, Krodam, anger, Kridyamanaha, being played with, Ahirat, a great cobra, Iva, like. Translation and purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Śrī Maitreya said, the demon, being thus challenged by the personality of Godhead, became angry and agitated, and he trembled in anger like a challenged cobra. Please repeat the translation. Śrī Maitreya said, the demon, being thus challenged by the personality of Godhead, became angry and agitated, and he trembled in anger like a challenged cobra. Purport by Prabhupada. A cobra is very fierce before ordinary persons, but before an enchanter who can play with him, he is plaything. Similarly, a demon may be very powerful in his own domain, but before the Lord, he is insignificant. The demon Ravana was a fierce figure before the demigods, but when he was before Lord Rāmacandra, he trembled and prayed to his deity Lord Śiva, but to no avail. Next verses I'll recite myself. Shujan amarshitaha swasan manyu pravilitendriyaha asadya tarasa daityo gadaya nyahana dharim. Hissing indigently, all his senses shaken by wrath, the demon quickly sprang upon the Lord and dealt him a blow with his powerful mace. Bhagavamsu gada vegam vishrushtam ripuno rasi avanchayat tirashino yoga rudo ivantakam. The Lord, however, by moving slightly aside, dodged the violent mace blow aimed at his breast by the enemy, just as an accomplished yogi would elude death. Purport. The example is given herein that the perfect yogi can overcome a death blow, although it is offered by the laws of nature. It is useless for a demon to beat the transcendental body of the Lord with a powerful mace, for no one can surpass his prowess. Those who are advanced transcendentalists are freed from the laws of nature, and even a death blow cannot act on them. Superficially, it may be seen that a yogi is attacked by a death blow, but by the grace of the Lord, he can overcome many such attacks for the service of the Lord. As the Lord exists by his own independent prowess, by the grace of the Lord, the devotees also exist for his service. Punar gadam swam adhaya brahmayantam abhikshnasaha abhyadhavad dharit kruddaha samramba dashta dachadam. The personality of Godhead now exhibited his anger and rushed to meet the demon, who bit his lip in rage and took up his mace again and began to repeatedly brandish it about. Tatasya gadhyaratim dakshanasyam bhruvi prabhu ajagne satu tam saumya gadaya kovido ahanad. Then with his mace, the Lord struck the enemy on the right of his brow. But since the demon was expert in fighting, O gentle Vidra, he protected himself by a maneuver of his own mace. Evam ghadabhyam gurvibhyam harakshyo harirevacha jikishaya susamrabdhav anyonyam ajijagnatuhu. In this way, the demon Haraksha and the Lord, personality of Godhead, struck each other with their huge maces, each enraged and seeking his own victory. Purport. Haraksha is another name for Hiranyaksha, the demon. Tayos pruddha stigma gada antaggeyoho kshatrasva ghrana vivruddha manyavo vichitra margam sharator jigishaya vihabad ilayam iva susminor mrudaha. There was keen rivalry between the two combatants. Both had sustained injuries on their bodies from the blows of others' pointed maces, and each grew more and more enraged at the smell of the blood on his person. In their eagerness to win, they performed maneuvers of various kinds, and their contest looked like an encounter between two forceful bulls for the sake of a cow. Purport. Here the earth planet is called Ila. This earth was formerly known as Ilavrata Varsha, and when Maharaj Parikshit ruled the earth, it was called as Bharata Varsha. Actually, Bharata Varsha is the name for the entire planet, but gradually Bharata Varsha has come to mean India. As India has recently been divided into Pakistan and Hindustan, similarly the earth was formerly called Ilavrata Varsha, but gradually as time passed, it was divided by national boundaries. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta Purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here Maitreya is continuing the activities between Hiranyaksha and Lord Varaha. So in these 7 verses, they point about the fight that is actually happening, how things happen when we fight, how people become enraged, how people become enthused. Various factors in that fighting aspects have been enumerated here. So starts with Maitreya Vacha. So Maitreya is communicating to Vidura. So adikshipto bhagavata pralabdasya rushabrasham. When the Lord scolded Hiranyaksha, Saha means the demon. Adikshiptaha means to reprimand, to scold him. Because earlier, Hiranyaksha was scolding the Lord. No, Lord is giving it back. After scolding him, Pralabdasya Rushabhrisham, because of being insulted. When somebody says something to us, we become immediately angry. Rusha, anger becomes updated within us. Emerges out. Rushabhrisham. Rushabhrisham means, and he was greatly agitated. Then, Ajahavo Ulbanam Krodam. And that anger was so much, it became accumulated. Ulbanam like a volcano. What happens before volcano erupts? It boils. It boils to the point of explosion. So that Ulbanam, it's like an explosion. Ulbanam Krodam. Then, Krijyamano Ahiradiva. How was this happening? How was this compared? This was like when a cobra was challenged. Ahirat. So when people try to play with a cobra, it tolerates at one particular point, it starts giving it back. So then next it says further, Shunjan amarshitaha swasan manyu prachaletendriyaha asadya tarasa daityo gadaya nyahanadharim. So Shunjan amarshitaha swasan. When somebody becomes angry, what is the next impact? He breathes heavily. Swasan, he breathes heavily. Manyu prachalendriyaha. And that anger has conquered the senses. Eyes become red, hands become itching, and legs become, you want to hit something. So all the indriyas come under the control of Manyuhu, anger. Asadya tarasa daitya. And he was trying to counter it back, give it back. Tarasa, he was looking for an opportunity. Asadya. Gadaya nyahanadharim. With what he wants to give back? He wants to fight back with his gada, with his mace. He wants to beat the Lord. Bhagavamsyu gada vegam vishrushtam ripunorasi. That gada vegam, how force was that gada vegam? And where it was aimed at? Urasi means the chest part. He wanted to hit on the chest part by the enemy. Ripuraha, Ripunorasi, Vishrutam. Vishrutam means almost like he was thrown. That with a heavy force, it was thrown onto the Lord. Avanchayat Tirasachino Yoga Ruda Ivantakam. The Lord immediately, with a slight move, he missed that opportunity or being hit by that gada, as if Yoga Ruda Ivantakam. The expert yogi, how he dodges death. Punar gadam swam adhaya brahmayantam abhikshnasa abhyadavad harikruddha samramba dashtadachadam. Again, the Lord also picked up his mace. Punar gadam swam adaya, he picked up his mace. Brahmayantam adikshmasaha. Then he repeatedly, he was also brandishing him, giving it back. He was also trying to fight him back. Abhyadavad harikruddha. Then Lord also became angry and he started running towards the demon now. Abhyadavad. Sambramba dashtadachadam. And the demon was also biting his lips. When somebody becomes angry, the facial expression, you bite your lips and your teeth you clench. You make a sound with your clenching teeth. So dachadam means the lips, he was biting his lips to show that angry perspective. Then tatasya gadayaratim dakshinasyam bruvi prabhu. Then with his mace, heavy mace, the Lord hit him. Dakshanasya bruvihi. Bruvi means eyebrow. On the right side of his eyebrow, the Lord hit him. Ajakne satucham saumya gadaya kovido ahanad. Because he was also gadaya kovidaha. He was also an expert fighter. So he also brought his gada at the last moment to avoid being hit by the gada of the Lord. Evam gadabhyam gurvibhyam Haryaksho Harirevacha. The fighting between both of them, Hiranyaksha and Lord Hari, both are expert mace fighters. Jigishaya Susambhrambadhav Anyonyam Ajijagnatuhu. So with a desire for victory, Jigishaya. So both of them started beating each other to become victorious in that fight. Tayo Sprudha Stigma Gadaya Ahanta Angayoho Kshatashrava Grana Vivruddha Manyuvaho. Then both of them with their pointed maces, Gada will be circle, but at the corner there will be pointed maces. They started hitting each other, and that pointed maces, when it strikes with a heavy force, it starts cutting the body and it starts bleeding the body, and blood starts oozing out. Vichitra Margam Sharator Jigimshaya. With a victory in mind, Vichitra Margam, they started displaying exclusive talent. So sometimes we see some pujaris when they do chamara. They will show exclusive talent in rotating the chamara and variety maneuvers. This is for pujaris. This is for people who are of the fighting nature. Or sometimes you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was there, he was accepting sometimes in the role of a devotee. He was twisting the stick, bamboo stick. Cowherd boys, they always have a bamboo stick. So with that bamboo stick, they used to rotate in such a way that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to the each side of the stick, there was fire attached. So and with that, he was rotating that thing, that fire was running like a chakra. It is called as Alata chakra. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also showing his skills, how he is an expert cowherd boy. So here the fighters were showing how they were expert fightermen by various moves and attacks. Vyabad ilayam iva sushpinor mudaha. Or how was this fight happening? Ilaya, for the sake of this earth, two bulls were fighting. Earth is represented like a cow, and the bulls always want to dominate and show their presence. So like for example, if you go to forest, we see various animals there, lions especially. So how do lions know? Male lions, what do? They mark their territory and they say all the females are my females. If some other male comes, there will be a challenging fight between both the things, and whoever becomes victorious, he becomes the king of that entire group, because he has to lead, not only have sexual thing, but he has to also give protection to the entire his dependents. So to mark their presence, various people use various means and ways. So various countries, what do? They build a boundary. They say this is my part, this is your part. But animals, can they build a boundary? So some animals, what they do is, they leave their scent. How do they leave their scent? By passing their urine. When they pass that urine, that is a scent, so that opposite animal knows that is a marked area and nobody should enter that area. So like that, various perspectives have been done, because a bull also wants to fight with another bull to show its supremacy. This material world, this fighting, whatever we see, some people take pleasure in this fighting. Various categories of people are there: Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. How do Sattva-guna people fight? Do they fight? Yes, they fight. Arguments. Educated people, they do arguments, they do fight, but it's verbal fight. Each one trying to give something logic to the other person that he becomes baffled. That is verbal fight. Then Rajasic people, what do? They give intellectual fight. They try to do by passion, by strength, many things. Tamasic people, by using weapons. So different people have different ideologies of fighting, because that fighting spirit is there, because it is there within the Lord, it is there within us also. We are inbuilt. Whatever is there in the Lord, we have, but it might be in minute traces. So, I was just doing small research. Why do people like this violence? Many people like this violence. That's why they play games. And most of the video games are all violence based only. So very few sattvic games will be there, like puzzles or some small things. But most of the things becomes PUBG. Many people would have played. Why people become so much attached to PUBG? It's a violence. It's a thing which is inciting people to fight. So what might be the reason? So they said 2-3 perspectives. One, the stress what they are going through, when they fight, they relieve their stress by fighting. This is one thing. Second thing was, when people are too timid, externally they can't face somebody else. They want to show off their pratapa. Where will they show off? While playing these games, they show off their nature. Their anger, everything and all, they show off here. And you can see when somebody is too much involved in the game, he'll be playing silently or he'll be making sounds. Kill him, catch him, attack him. See, he's engrossed. Now, how things have become within his mind conception, he has become absorbed into so much consciousness. You see, sometimes this Sankranti comes. What do people do? Kodpandal. When two hens fight, people take pleasure out of it. So that is here, people are fighting or Jantu is fighting. But you are trying to take pleasure out of it. What kind of personality are we to take pleasure out of? Somebody is fighting and somebody is dead. This is tamasic atmosphere. And who are demons? Tamasic personified. And what makes them happy? What brings them that energy? What gives them that kick? When they see that blood. That's what Hiranyaksha, when he was hitting the Lord, when he seeing that blood, he was getting that hype. Even though when you are angry, you wanted to burn somebody. You take a torch and that is burning very heavily. Before you could burn somebody, you are being burnt by that torch, that heat, that anger. People don't pursue that. In the mood of trying to hurt somebody else, he is being hurt in a bigger way. But because that victory, that name, fame, adoration for that victory, that keeps them charged, that keeps them pumped with energy. So this Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu fight is also the same perspective. Lord was in a sattvic mode, but the demon was in a tamasic mode. The combination of which, with 2 dimensions we see. From the Lord's perspective, he was trying to silence the aggressor. Why he is an aggressor? He was stealing somebody else's property. And aggressors have to be punished. From tamasic perspective, from the demon perspective, he thinks everything is his property. Everything is meant for his enjoyment. And if somebody tries to stop, he becomes angry. He wants to show off his potency. He wants to show off his might and capacity. So for things to happen, there are many reasons and causes. So when I read Krishna book, many times we read the stories also. Some stories you get a doubt why certain things happen in this way, why certain things happen in some other way. So whenever a demon comes to Vrindavan, whenever he takes to attack Vrajavasis or cowhead boys or cows, what was Krishna's immediate reaction? He would like to kill that demon because it was hurting his own associates. But with Kaliya, why did Krishna show a different approach? Did Krishna kill Kaliya? Why he did not kill Kaliya? Kaliya also harmed the Lord, harmed his boys, harmed his cows. You see the scenario. What was the scenario? Kaliya was staying in Yamuna, one part of the lake. What he was doing there? And how big was Kaliya? It has 1000 hoods. Funny. 1,000, in which 101 are prominent, and each hood is decorated with jewels and precious stones. And who was he? He was the son of Kashyapa Muni and Kadru. And who was his brother? His brother was Ananta, Adishesha. So, being in a family of snakes, so whenever they become little agitated, they become angry. And in that anger, they emit poison. So, we also emit heavy air. For them, that heavy swasa is that poison what they emit. So, Kaliya was staying in this lake and it was continuously emitting poison. The impact of that poison was so much. No greenery survived entire that Kaliya, Yamuna lake. Everything was burnt to ashes. So much so that if a bird is flying in the sky, just by inhaling that air, it becomes drop dead. So, when Krishna came one day, without Balarama, it says, one version says without Balarama, one version says Balarama was also there. When Krishna came along with his cowherd boys and everybody there, unintentionally or accidentally they drank that water because of thirst. As soon as they drank the water, they touched the water like it was like cyanide. You touch, next moment you are gone. You don't even know that you have drank. So that water was so poisonous, the boys and cows all fell dead. So Krishna immediately, with his merciful glance, he saw the situation and he revived them back. And he wanted to put a full stop to what this harm this Kaliya was doing. So he tied himself, got ready, and he climbed one Kadamba tree. And Acharya said this was the only tree which was surviving in that area. So he climbed, and when Krishna jumped into that waters, Krishna created a big impact into the water. The sound, heavy challenge he had shown. Like if a person comes to fight, what do they do? They blow their conch shell to say, we have come to fight you, we have come to challenge you. So Krishna also, while diving into the water, he was giving a challenge to Kaliya. And how this Kadamba tree survived? The one reason says Krishna, because he touched his lotus feet onto the tree, it became survived. The second reason they say, when Garuda sometimes was carrying back some Amrita, so he dropped few drops onto the tree, because in future Krishna is going to come, this tree has to stand for that time. So he was preserving the tree by dropping some Amrita. Even today, if you go there, if you see that tree there, you will see in the center, you will see like a pot. One pot was holding on to the tree. It was like a small hollow. They say it was that pot which was kept by Garuda. For some time he was holding that pot onto the tree. Because of that Amrita was staying onto the tree. Because of which he survived. From 5,000 years back till today, we can see that tree still hanging around near Kaliya Ghat. So when Krishna jumped into the water, he gave a challenge. Kaliya could also understand. Some intruder has come into his kingdom. Somebody was challenging him. So he came out and he saw the beautiful form of the Lord. As soon as you see the beautiful form of the Lord, what will be your first reaction? You become mesmerized, you become very happy, you pay obeisances. But when you are in an angry mood, when you see the beautiful form of the Lord, you cannot appreciate that beauty of the Lord. You become more envious and you become more of inimical in nature. He thought he is a person who has come to disturb me in my activities. He immediately coiled him and he tried to crush him. And Krishna was also trying to play around for some time. He was there in that water. He was showing all the various types of swimming and activities within the water. It is like hide and seek. We all used to play that hide and seek. So he was playing that hide and seek. So after some time, at one particular point, all the gopis, when they were all on the shore, the cows started shouting. When the boys saw that Krishna was under the capture of coils of Kaliya, they lost their consciousness. They became fainted because of excessive love for the Lord. And in the meantime, there were inauspicious symptoms in Vrindavan also. All the Nanda Maharaj and all the entire Vrindavan, they ran towards this Yamuna Ghat. When they came here, Nanda and everybody wants to jump into the water and protect Krishna. But Balarama stopped them. Somebody by words, somebody by physical action, he stopped by somebody, and somebody he dragged them back. Because different people, different things were there. And Mother Yashoda, she was almost like fainted, unconscious. All the other ladies, even though they were having that pain, agony, they were continuously chanting Krishna's pastime so that Mother Yashoda is revived back. So much anxiety, gopis, gopas, cows, calves, everybody are full of anxiety. When Krishna saw that anxiety of the devotees, he wants to finish off this Kaliya. Taking this opportunity, he expanded his form. So Kaliya could not hold on to the grip. He started feeling the pain. So Krishna started dancing onto the various hoods. Whenever that hood becomes angry and wants to bite the Lord, he jumped on that and kicked that hood so that it surrenders to him. So like that he kicked on all the heads, so much so that he was systematically dancing also. There was kirtan going on and the demigods were all showering flowers and they were also accompanying him with music and instruments and all. Simultaneously what is happening? Krishna was emitting out all the poison of Kaliya. He was draining him out. So much so that Kaliya was almost exhausted. He was about to die. He was about to lose his life. At the last moment, the wives of Kaliya will come and they offer glorious prayers to Lord and they pacify the Lord and ask him to spare Kaliya. Now in this entire episode, Kaliya, he harmed the Lord, he harmed his devotees, but Krishna did not kill. Now who was this Kaliya? Why did Lord not kill him? Why did Lord spare him? So Shastras give the previous life of Kaliya and his activities. So there was a sage during Swayambhu Manu's time, a descendant of Bhrigu Muni by name Vedashira. He was performing austerities in Vindhya mountains. So one day, one more sage by name Ashvashira came to his hermitage and he wanted to do tapasya in that area there. So when Vedashira was seated, he saw somebody coming to his ashrama. He became little disturbed and with an angry red eyes, he was talking to the other sage. So Ashvashira also could identify that this Muni was not happy for me to come here. Even though he was talking and he was doing that introductory chat, he was not at all happy. So both of them started discussing. So Vedashira said, why you have come here? When there are so many other places to go and chant, why you are intruding into my space? Ashvashira said, what is the limitation there? Before you also many sages had did tapasya there, they had no any problem. So it is not that it is your specific place. These are all open places of the Lord. Anybody can come and chant. Like that discussion was so engulfing, they became angry upon each other. So Ashvashira became too much angry and he said, since you are showing like anger like a snake, your eyes like red and your voice is like that hissing voice, better you become a snake. And when you become a snake, Garuda will come and teach you nice lesson. Garuda, you will become afraid of Garuda and he will tease you nicely and he will teach you nicely. Then Vedashira also became angry. And since you are also talking like a crow, simply blabbering, ba, 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 you become a crow. So when they cursed each other, when they started realizing, what I think I have done. By cursing each other, we have lost our tapas shakti. We have become so animal that we will not be able to chant or we will not be able to do our meditation. The purpose is missed. Both of us purpose is missed. When they started regretting at that particular point, Lord Vishnu appeared there. And by seeing Lord Vishnu, both of them offered prayers, both of them offered obeisances, and both of them started narrating what happened actually transpired. Lord said, I am very happy that both of you have realized your mistake. But since both of you are my devotees, I can undo my words, but I cannot undo my devotees' words, because that's a promise. Whatever the devotee promises, I'll execute it at any cost. So since you become a snake, Vedashira, but you will be protected from Garuda because I will come and dance on your hoods. And my lotus will be implanted on your head. And you will have protection from me. The Ashwashira who becomes a crow, he said, you will become a great devotee. You will become so much so that you will be fashioned across the world as the greatest devotee. And you will be the authority on Ramayana, who became Kakabhushandi, who spoke Ramayana to Garuda also. So you will get to know, if you have visited Jagannath Puri, there was quarrel between two kings. Who was the one who had established Jagannatha? King Indradyumna and some other personality, next king. So at that time, who was the one who gives that witness? This crow, Kakabhushandi. He says it was Indradyumna who had come here first, and it was he who had established the deity. That was Kakabhushandi. So he became that celebrated sage, Kakabhushandi, and he became Kaliya. So in the 7th Manvantara period, when Kashyapa had married so many daughters of Daksha, so he married Kadru. The first son between Kadru and Kashyapa was Ananta Adishesha. And there were many other snakes also. In that one of the powerful snakes was Kaliya. So they were all staying in a place called as Ramanakadvipa. Today it is considered as Fiji Island. Ramanakadvipa, Prabhupada says that. So in that place all the snakes were there, and Garuda used to come and every day kill some snakes and randomly go away because snakes are its food. So one day when Garuda was very peacefully seated, all the snakes assembled there and they came to the Garuda and they tried to pacify him, and he said, you are great personality. You are the carrier of Lord Vishnu. There is no obstacle to you. But please do not harm us. Every day you are coming and randomly killing many things, but you are eating only very few. We will do one thing, every day we will supply one from every house, one snake as an offering unto you. Please don't kill. So Garuda was also very happy. He said, if you are able to obey by that order, I don't feel of disturbing you. So every day one house used to supply one snake, and Garuda used to come and eat and go away. When the day of Kaliya's house had come, Kaliya, instead of giving that offering to Garuda, he himself ate. So Garuda became angry. When the word was broken, promise was broken, he became angry and he started attacking Kaliya. Kaliya also thought, I am a great person with so many hoods, so much poison. I can attack anyone and everyone. He started hissing back. He started spitting poison onto Garuda. But being the greatest carrier of the Lord, none of these material things cannot impact the body of Garuda. So with his beaks, with his claws, he started tearing open. He started hitting, he started biting, he started scratching upon Kaliya. So much so that he took Kaliya to hit to the rocks, he hit to everywhere. He started almost destroying. Then Kaliya went everywhere. He rose into the sky. Garuda followed him. He went to heavenly planets. Garuda followed him. Finally, he went to his own brother Ananta and he requested, my dear brother, please forgive me. Please give me protection. So, by one side, for Ananta, it is his dear servant, and one side is his dear brother. Now, how to handle between both of them? Now, Ananta played a logic. He said, since both of you are here, my associated people, do one thing. There was one small province of area in Yamuna lake, where earlier Shobari Muni had cursed Garuda not to come here. You go and you stay there. Garuda will not come and attack you. So that's why Kaliya came to this place in Yamuna. And Garuda was also sent back by the Lord. So by Krishna, when he handled the situation, so in that way he handled both of them, because he had to please his brother Ananta also, and he had to please Garuda also. Both were his servants. So how he pleased Garuda? By chastising Kaliya, he pleased Garuda. And by not killing Kaliya, he pleased Ananta also. So Lord also played his intelligence there. He handled both the situations, both personalities. So that's why he was a great sage. He was a great devotee of the Lord who had accepted this form of a snake. That anger personified. Snakes are anger personified. Without any reason they bite. That's why whenever sages also, Prahlad Maharaj says, whenever you see a snake or a scorpion, they kill it immediately. When they are sarvabhuta hite rataha, when they are for the welfare of all living entities except snakes and scorpions. because they are enviousness of highest category. So the demoniac people, they are fully envious. They have become angry unnecessarily and they want to vent their anger. And this is the perspective in which the Lord also handles these demoniac people, these envious people. So similarly, there was one scenario during Prabhupada's disciples period. So some of the devotees from Canada, they went to Muslim countries, Lebanon, for preaching, because Prabhupada wanted book distribution to happen. So they were going to means and ways they are finding to reach to new people. So these devotees, when they are infatuated with Sankirtana, so they just do Kirtan, they keep chanting and they go to new places, meet new people, and they hand over Bhagavad Gita and encourage them to read Prabhupada's books perspective. And this Lebanon was a country which was maximum with this Islamic country, and they were at the time there was civil war happening. So when the devotees landed there, they came outside after the airport and they immediately picked their books and they started walking on the road chanting Sankirtan, and they started reaching to people and giving them Bhagavad Gita. Suddenly the local people see somebody fair-skinned coming to their country carrying some books, and they were preaching something. They became very alert. The local people came and asked, what is this? So because of the language communication, they thought this was Hebrew, means they were preaching Bible. And they became very against, and they took these two devotees and put him into a bunker cell. Means it was very dark, which was under the ground, and there was only one bucket of water, no light also. That situation. So the two devotees were placed inside. So there were many other people, even their own government people who started raising voice. They were all captured, and many other people, some forceful people are also were captured. So everybody were in the room. These two devotees went there and they started introducing each other, how they had landed up, even though the language was very difficult to communicate. So they were all talking slowly, these two devotees. What is their engagement? Only Sankirtan was the engagement. They started doing Kirtan. All the others also started joining him in the Kirtan, because there is no other opportunity there. The only frustration, the only thing to come out of their frustrated situation was the chanting. So they were all continuously doing Kirtan, bhajans and all. In the meantime, the Canadian embassy, they got to know that some of their people were missing. So they went to the local police station and they said, what happened? Did you find any of our people, Canadian people? They said, we don't know, we put somebody in the lot, we go and search there in the lot. So these Canadian people came there, and their embassy people, they found out these two devotees there, and they took them out. And they explained to the scenario, this was not Hebrew language or anything, this is the Vedic knowledge, Bhagavad Gita. So they went out and they were continuously, they may not be able to preach officially, but they were chanting within themselves and they were roaming around. After a few days, when this devotee came there, when he was passing by that building, that day he saw the entire building was collapsed by a bomb attack. To the root, everybody who were there in that building were completely destroyed. One day later only, that bomb happened. So how Sankirtana protects the devotees? When Prabhupada assured, Prabhupada says at one place, he says, I would take the dust of those devotees on my head who preach in the Islamic countries. Because they are two negative perspectives. If you are able to preach in that countries, Prabhupada says, I will take the dust of that devotee's feet on my head, who are endeavoring to preach in most difficult situations. So how devotees and how systems protect when we are in the service of the Lord, when the service of spiritual master. Prabhupada would have been satisfied by the endeavors. Whether success is there or not there, but the endeavor is what Guru and Krishna looks at. So this fighting further continues. There are one more chapter also further on this fighting and all, how Hiranyaksha and Lord Varahas. We'll see further more details in the next class. We'll stop here. Any questions at all? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की, हिताय गौर प्रेमानंद।